Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. We have got another news roundup show for you all today. We've got news upon the Jack Grealish situation as that takes further developments. We've got another update on Romelu Lukaku's situation and that saga that seems to be ongoing. We've got Aston Villa signing a striker completely out of the blue, and we have news of a Liverpool star pledging his long-term future to the club. But before we go any further, I would like to remind you all to please like the video and also subscribe for new breakings always, and for it would be greatly appreciated. But for now, let's get back to talking about this news roundup, kicking off, diving head first into further developments in the Jack Grealish saga to Manchester City. Diving head first, we're going to be diving into the Jack Grealish situation. There was further developments over the past couple of days, of course, and yesterday the big news came out that there was the £100 million bid from Manchester City has been accepted after it was laid down on the table to Villa on Saturday. As predicted, everybody thought that that bid was going to be accepted. It has been accepted. Paperwork's been signed. Terms, contracts, and everything of that nature have been agreed upon by all parties involved. And the only thing that is seemingly standing in the way from Jack Grealish being unveiled as a Manchester City player appears to be a medical. Grealish is set to undergo that medical today, and then an official announcement will seemingly be imminent following that. Grealish will be unveiled as a Manchester City player. It seems no doubt anymore that that won't happen unless some magical U-turn happens by someone involved in this deal. Jack Grealish will become a Manchester City player. £100 million, biggest transfer in Premier League history to date. A lot of eyes are going to be on Grealish and Manchester City over the course of this season because of that fact, that statistic, however you want to put it. And whether he can adapt to a Pep Guardiola side or not, that remains to be seen. But if he can recreate some of the form and some of the performances that he's shown at Villa and perform a consistent and constant high level for City, then City and Pep Guardiola and everybody involved will have done some absolute quality business and reinforce their squad to get even stronger than what it is. Is he worth 100 million? Arguably and debatably, probably not. English tax, as we all know, when it comes to these kind of deals, probably bumped up the price tag a little bit. But that's not to say he's not a quality player. Obviously, he is a quality player. He is kind of reaching that kind of mark, but maybe not quite worth the £100 million price tag that has obviously gone on him. Does he take the City to a Champions League title? He certainly adds to this squad in terms of depth and quality, but there are two areas that City may struggle with, in my opinion, to achieve and get that all-elusive trophy that they've been wanting for so long, and of course the title that comes with it of Champions of Europe, and that is both mentally and, in my opinion, possibly their striker situation. However, now that this Jack Grealish deal seems to be all wrapped up, done, dusted, completed, pending a medical, of course, it does seem that City can now turn their full attention to that second problem in getting a striker. And Tottenham fans, if you haven't already probably accepted that Harry Kane may be leaving this summer, I'd be fully prepared for City going all out, all guns blazing, going after Harry Kane between now and the end of the transfer window. Sticking with Aston Villa for our next story, this story came completely out of the blue. That would be an understatement. It came completely out of the blue. This story literally came out of nowhere. Danny Ings has signed for Aston Villa. Like I say, this story completely came out of nowhere, like an RKO out of nowhere. This story just randomly rose from nowhere. We knew that something with Danny Ings might happen this summer. He was entering the final year left on his contract at St Mary's, and he turned down an offer from Southampton of a new 4-year contract, claiming that he wanted to seek a fresh challenge elsewhere. He wanted to test himself on a bigger level, step up to the plate kind of thing. And then Southampton obviously had a decision to make. Either try and cash in on him this summer or lose him on a free next summer. And obviously it has become apparent that they've cashed in on him this summer. Despite being linked with both Manchester clubs, Manchester United and Manchester City, Danny Ings has found a new club in the form of Aston Villa. A move which some may say may be a bit of a sidestep kind of move, but it seems that Ings has definitely brought into this project that Villa are under right now in their quest to step up and break into European football. The English striker, who scored 46 goals for Southampton in 100 appearances, has signed for Villa for an undisclosed fee and has signed on a 3-year deal. Like I said, Villa have done some really good business in this transfer window, in my opinion. I think they've looked at their squad, they've identified key areas that need to be strengthened, and I think they've done that to good effect, whilst also preparing for life after Jack Grealish. I think that they've bought very well. I think that they've bought very well to also soften the blow of losing a superstar like Grealish. But I think overall this transfer policy this summer has been really positive and has shown real ambition and real intent laid down as a statement of intent to the teams around them and even some of the teams above them ahead of the forthcoming new season. But the overall goal here is simply progression, and their next target seems to be European football, and their transfer business certainly does reflect that. It will be interesting to see how Dean Smith balances both having Ings and Ollie Watkins in his squad, who has of course progressed very well over the past couple of years, switching from Championship life to the Premier League, and of course helped Villa on a pretty successful and pretty progressive campaign last time out. But with Ings, he definitely provided Southampton with plenty of goals over the course of his time there. And with arguably more creativity behind him, maybe he can hit those sort of similar figures that he was hitting for Southampton going forward. Although, like I say, it will be interesting to see how his playing time progresses with Villa, considering that Ollie Watkins is obviously already there. So it'll be interesting to see how Dean Smith balances those two out. I also would like to point out that I do love a random transfer out of the blue. I love a swift negotiation process. It just comes out of nowhere. No teasing the media and having this will he, won't he sign kind of thing going on. Just get in, get the business and get the job done. And that's arguably how I believe transfers should be done. But that's just me. Next, we come to a complete roller coaster of a story that's been ongoing this summer. It all centers around the man known as Romelu Lukaku. This has been a completely up and down and random story that's taken many twists and turns. Just a bit of a recap for you. First, news broke of Chelsea's interest, and during this time, Romelu Lukaku himself came out and said that he'd be happy to stay at Inter. But Chelsea kept pursuing him despite having several bids rejected by Lukaku's current club, Inter. And now it appears that he's open to a move back to his former club, as he's told Inter to accept a suitable bid made for him by Chelsea, by the Blues. And now the ending of this saga seems to be on Inter. How much are they willing to dig their heels in to try and keep their superstar striker, or whether they will give in to Lukaku's demands and let him go? That seems to be what we're waiting on to find out the ending to this mad story. As I've said all along, there had to be something here that Chelsea knew that we didn't, that they could possibly tempt Lukaku into possibly returning to Stamford Bridge, and they knew that they could force Inter's hand a little bit into selling him. Inter were very reluctant. Lukaku didn't really seem to mind, like he was happy to stay at Inter, it seemed. But with the Blues being so public about it, you kind of had the feeling that they knew something that we didn't about this possible deal. And of course, now it seems they did know something, because Lukaku seems to have changed his mind. Inter are now facing a seemingly losing battle to keep hold of their star striker, and it seems that a deal is advancing here, and that it is entirely possible that we could be seeing Romelu Lukaku back in a Chelsea shirt again for next season. Does this potential deal have an effect on Lautaro Martinez's future? We know that Arsenal were obviously interested in signing the Argentinian striker, and whilst Inter seemed open to letting the Argentine leave over the Belgian, maybe things have changed a little bit here. And if Chelsea can reach their deal first, then I imagine that things could possibly change drastically between those two strikers. Again, I said all along that Inter will be very reluctant to let both their star strikers go. But then again, it definitely could happen, especially if Martinez forces a move out, like Lukaku seems to be happy to leave as well. With the new season just over a week away, I would expect things to move very quickly on possibly both of these deals, but certainly seemingly the Lukaku deal is moving at an alarming rate. And our final story is revolving around Alisson Becker, who has signed a new deal at Liverpool. Last week it was Trent Alexander-Arnold who extended his stay at Anfield. A couple of days ago it was Fabinho's turn to pledge his long-term future to Liverpool. Yesterday, Alisson Becker officially signed a new contract with the Reds that will see him stay at the club until 2027, hopefully. Alisson has kept 59 clean sheets and 130 appearances for the Reds, as well as obviously scoring that incredible and iconic goal at the end of last season against West Brom. A goal which pretty much sealed the biggest 3 points of Liverpool's campaign last season to help them get into that top four and into those Champions League places, of course. And whilst it's great that big players want to stay at the club and have got their contracts all nice and sorted out, I will reiterate what I've been saying all along this transfer window. Get this Jordan Henderson contract situation addressed and dealt with, and make him make him feel wanted. Help him stay at the club, see out his career, and retire at the club or whatever it may be, because Henderson is a massive part of this team and obviously has been a big part of this team ever since he arrived. Get it done and dusted. That's all I can say on that score. And then maybe turn your attention to signing maybe 1 or 2 players ahead of the new season. It's not looking likely to happen, but I can hope, right? Right? Fingers crossed? Oh, I'm wasting my breath. Let's just move on. But of course, as I always say, these are just the thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of any of the stories that I've talked about in this video? What do you make of the Grealish situation as his move to Manchester City edges ever closer? What do you make of Aston Villa signing Danny Ings completely out of the blue yesterday? What do you make of the Romelu Lukaku to Chelsea situation? Do you think that Chelsea will break the bank just to sign Lukaku? Or will Lukaku eventually stay at Inter Milan because Inter dig their heels in on this potential deal? And what do you make of Alisson Becker signing a new contract with Liverpool? I'd love to know your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, whatever you want to call it, down below in the comment section. I'm sure that will make for interesting reading. Otherwise, hit that like button on it if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new or want to see more content like this. Both things always and forever be greatly appreciated. And as always, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I will see you all again soon in another video.